After more than 30 years working with older patients, there's one sentence I hear so often, it's practically a catchphrase in my clinic. Doctor, I guess it's just old age. My body feels stiffer, weaker, and honestly, I'm afraid to move. If you're over 60, there's a good chance you've thought the same thing. You wake up in the morning and your knees feel stiff. Getting up from a chair means pushing off with your hands. Bending down makes you feel unsteady. And in the back of your mind, there's that familiar voice saying, don't push it. You're not young anymore. But I want you to pause for a moment, not to start exercising right away, just to question one very important assumption. Are these changes really coming from age itself? Because here's a scientific truth most people are never told. After 60, your body doesn't stop learning. It doesn't stop adapting. What changes isn't your body's ability. It's what we continue to ask it to do. Many of my patients aren't weak because they're too old. They're weak because for years, their bodies haven't been reminded how to move properly. High chairs replace low sitting. Soft couches replace deep movement. Convenience slowly replaces mobility. And then one day, when you try something that used to be easy, lowering yourself down, keeping your balance, standing up with control, your brain reacts instantly. This is unfamiliar. This is unsafe. Stop. Fear shows up, not because you're weak, but because your nervous system hasn't updated that movement in a long time. My name is David Warren. I'm 60 years old. I'm not an athlete, and I don't believe in miracle exercises. What I do believe, and what I've seen thousands of times, is this. When older adults truly understand their bodies, they can regain movement without pain, without risk, and without trying to be 30 again. In this video, I'm going to share a very simple group of movements. Movements that can reawaken the coordination between your brain, muscles, and joints that many people lose after 60. Not to prove anything, but to help you feel safer and more confident in your own body every day. If you've ever thought, at this point, I'll be happy if it just doesn't hurt, there's a good chance you'll see things differently after this. Idea 1. Your body doesn't get weaker because it's out of power, but because your brain stops trusting movement. A lot of people believe that after 60, muscles and joints are like an old battery. Once it runs down, you can't recharge it. But the human body doesn't work like a battery. It works more like a control system. And the center of that system is your brain and nervous system. Every time you make a familiar movement, your brain checks if it's safe, distributes effort to the right muscles, adjusts posture and balance. When a movement hasn't been used for a long time, the brain starts to see it as unreliable. So when you try it again, even gently, the brain switches on its protection mode. Muscles tighten, balance feels shaky, fear appears. And here's the key point. That reaction doesn't mean you're weak. It simply means your brain isn't ready yet. When older adults understand this, something powerful changes in how they see their bodies. Instead of thinking, my joints are worn out, my muscles are too weak, I shouldn't be doing this at my age, they begin to think, my body needs to relearn this, my brain needs more signals of safety, I don't need to be stronger yet, I need confidence first. As the brain's trust slowly returns, standing up feels easier, walking feels steadier, bending down feels less scary. Daily movement becomes smoother. This is the foundation of independence after 60. At this stage, I don't recommend heavy training or forcing deep positions. Instead, I teach my patients one simple rule. Small movement, good control, consistent repetition. For example, lower yourself just a few inches, hold for 5 to 10 seconds, stand up slowly, breathe normally. Don't hold your breath. If while doing this, you feel muscles working, focus in your mind, but no sharp pain, that's a very good sign. Your brain is learning. This movement is safe. I often tell my older patients, we don't train to prove we're still young. We train so the brain stops being afraid. If today you only do a little, that's not failure. In fact, it may be the first time in years your body's being reminded of something it once knew. Be patient with yourself. After 60, the body doesn't need to be pushed. It needs to be listened to, guided, and reassured. Idea 2, when movement disappears from daily life, joints don't age. They get forgotten. Your joints aren't like metal door hinges. they're living tissue, and they're nourished by movement. Every time a joint moves safely, joint fluid circulates, cartilage gets bathed in nutrients. Nerve receptors send positive signals to the brain, but when a joint rarely visits lower, deeper, or unfamiliar positions, the body adapts in a very efficient way. Range of motion decreases, surrounding tissue tightens, movement is limited to avoid risk. This is often mistaken for age-related degeneration. In many cases, it's really degeneration from lack of movement variety. As joints are gradually reintroduced to positions they haven't visited in years, the body starts to change. Subtly. Older adults often tell me, "My knees feel softer in the morning. Standing up doesn't feel as heavy. Stairs feel more stable." These changes don't come from sudden strength gains. They come from joints remembering what they're meant to do. And when joints move more smoothly, the brain relaxes, balance improves, daily movement uses less energy. At this stage, the goal isn't how low you go, it's how well you control the position you're in. I usually start patients with very small steps, lightly touching down on a low chair, then standing up, lowering slowly and holding for 3 to 5 seconds. Always using support, a table, wall, or chair. Most important, heels feel connected to the floor. Back isn't rigid. Breathing stays calm. If it feels like the joint is opening rather than being forced, you're doing it right. Many older adults say to me, "Doctor, I'm afraid this will wear my joints out." I usually answer, joints aren't afraid of correct movement. They're afraid of being ignored. You don't need to return to difficult positions. You just need to give your joints a chance to work safely every day. Think of each slow, controlled movement as a message to your body. I still use you. And over time, the body responds. Idea 3, loss of balance after 60 isn't about weak legs, but noisy signals between the brain and the body. Many older adults tell me, "Doctor, my legs feel weak. That's why I'm unsteady." But in most cases, the issue isn't strength. It's the quality of nerve signals. To maintain balance, the brain constantly gathers information from the feet, ground contact, the ankles, knees, and hips, body position, the eyes and inner ear. When the body rarely enters low or unfamiliar positions, these sensors become less active. Signals reaching the brain get weaker, slower, and less precise. The result, the brain isn't sure where you are. Corrections are delayed. A feeling of instability appears, and once again, the brain does what it does best. It raises the alarm. When older adults retrain their sense of body position, improvements often come as a surprise. Not "I suddenly feel strong," but standing up without wobbling, turning in the kitchen with confidence, bending down without fear of falling. These changes matter deeply because fear of falling is what quietly shrinks many older adults' lives. And the cruel loop looks like this. More fear, more avoidance, poorer nerve signals, poorer signals, worse balance. A silent cycle. To break it, I don't give complicated balance drills. I start by placing people in slightly lower positions, safely. For example, lowering slowly with support, holding for a few seconds, feeling feet on the ground, weight evenly distributed, calm breathing. Just 10-20 seconds gives the brain valuable information. This position is still safe. Repeated daily, this cleans up nerve signals, reduces panic responses, builds a sense of control. If there's one thing I want you to remember, it's this. Balance isn't a gift of youth. It's a trainable skill. You don't need to stand on one leg like a gymnast. You just need to give your brain clearer information about your body. Start where it feels slightly challenging, but still safe. When the brain feels safe, the body follows. Idea 4. Morning stiffness isn't a sign you're wearing down. It's a sign your body hasn't been warmed up the right way. Many older adults believe that morning stiffness is just a normal part of aging. But physiologically, what's usually happening is much simpler than that. While you sleep, circulation slows down. Joint fluid isn't moving much. The nervous system is in a deep rest mode. So when you first wake up, your joints are like a door that hasn't been opened in a while. Not broken, just not oiled and gently moved yet. Problems show up when you sit for a long time and then stand up suddenly. You avoid moving because you're afraid of feeling stiff. Or you start your day by sitting even more. Your body gets the wrong message. Looks like we don't need deep movement today either. And that's how stiffness quietly repeats itself day after day. When older adults change the way they start their morning, results often come faster than they expect. Many of my patients tell me, this morning getting up felt smoother. My knees felt less tight on the first few steps. I felt more flexible earlier in the day. And here's the key point. You don't need long workouts. You don't need heavy exercise. You just need to wake up the right chain, joints, muscles, and nervous system together. When your morning starts smoothly, movement feels easier all day. Energy stays more stable. There's less mental stress because you're not fighting stiffness right out of bed. I often teach patients one very simple morning rule. Open the range first, build strength later. That means don't rush into effort, don't push into deep positions. Let the joints move slowly with control. For example, lower yourself gently, not deep. Hold for 5 to 10 seconds. Stand back up slowly. Repeat 2 to 3 times if you notice a gentle warmth around the joints, a smoother, less grindy feeling, less hesitation when standing up. That's a sign your joints are being nourished properly. I often tell my older patients, morning is not the time to test your limits. Morning is the time to reassure your body that today is safe. Don't judge your body based on the first 5 minutes of the day. Your body needs to be unlocked gradually, not yanked open. If you're patient with your joints in the morning, they'll work with you the rest of the day. Idea 5. Fear of pain isn't the enemy. Letting fear control your movement is. Fear of pain is actually a very smart survival response. Your brain is always trying to protect you from injury. Problems start when the brain confuses unfamiliar with dangerous, and you listen to that warning for too long. If a movement caused discomfort in the past, the brain stores that memory. Last time this didn't go well. Next time, before you even start, muscles tighten. Range of motion shrinks, movement becomes clumsy. This creates a paradox. Fear leads to muscle tension, tension leads to poor movement. Poor movement increases the chance of real pain. When older adults understand this loop, they begin to change how they listen to their bodies. Instead of asking, does this hurt? They learn to ask, is this feeling under control? That small shift helps them tell the difference between sharp warning pain, stop, and tension, effort, or unfamiliar sensations, adjust. When the brain senses, I'm in control here, it will dial down overprotective responses. Allow smoother movement, gradually rebuild confidence. I teach my patients one very simple rule. Always give your brain an exit. That means always have support, always be able to stop, always control your speed. For example, when lowering yourself, ask, if I needed to, could I stand up right now? If the answer is yes, continue. If the answer is not sure, go less deep. This teaches the brain, this movement is under control. And when the brain believes that, the body follows. I always tell my patients over 60, don't try to push past fear. Move with it, just a little slower. Every time you move without panicking, you're teaching your brain something powerful. I can do this safely. That's the most sustainable way to rebuild strength and confidence. Idea 6. Strength after 60 doesn't come from trying harder. It comes from repeating the right rhythm. After 60, the body doesn't respond well to the do-it-all-at-once approach. What it needs is steady, predictable signals. The nervous system learns by receiving input, checking for safety, storing movement patterns if the signal is too strong, too fast, too inconsistent. The brain won't store it. It may even increase its guard. But when a movement is repeated at a moderate intensity, kept at a steady pace, finished in a safe state, the brain gradually updates its software. This movement is okay. We can use it. That's the foundation of lasting strength. When older adults shift from thinking, I need to do more today, to, I'll do just enough, but consistently, they start noticing less fatigue after movement, no more feeling wiped out after exercise, natural improvement in daily movement. Most importantly, they stop fearing missed days because the routine no longer feels mentally overwhelming. This is something many exercise programs overlook. Sustainability matters more than intensity. I often give patients this rule: less than you think, more often than you expect. For example, just 2 to 3 controlled lowers per day, hold each for 5 to 10 seconds, total time under 2 minutes, but do it every day. This approach prevents nervous system overload, feeds the joints regularly, helps the body relearn movement naturally. After a few weeks, many people say, "I'm not pushing harder, but I'm doing more." One common mistake I see is this: I felt good today, so I did extra to make up for lost days. After 60, the body doesn't like makeup days. It likes steady rhythm. Treat your body like an older friend. Don't rush it, don't neglect it, don't demand unpredictably. When you respect your body's rhythm, it gives you stability and long-term confidence in return. Idea 7. The real goal of movement after 60 isn't doing exercises. It's protecting your independence. When we're younger, we exercise to look better, get stronger, move faster. After 60, physiology changes and so do the brain's priorities. The brain no longer asks, "Are you fit?" It asks, "Are you safe and independent?" Every daily movement, standing up, sitting down, balancing, bending, sends the brain a message. Can you still control your body? Or are you becoming dependent on chairs, railings, other people? When the brain senses a loss of independence, it responds by increasing caution, limiting movement, making the body shrink to protect itself. That's why loss of movement is often paired with loss of confidence, not just weak muscles. When older adults focus on restoring independence, not just getting stronger, the changes run deep, quiet but real, standing up without thinking, bending down without panic, adjusting posture automatically when off balance. And most importantly, no longer feeling the need to avoid your own body, no longer living in constant self-protection mode. That's quality of life. And many people slowly lose it after 60 without realizing it. At this stage, I guide patients to one powerful question: does this movement help me live more independently? If the answer is yes, even if it's small, even if it's not pretty, even if it's not deep, it's worth doing. Lower slowly. Hold balance for a few seconds. Stand up on your own legs. That's not just exercise, that's a statement. I still run my body. Let me say this clearly. After 60, movement isn't about becoming extraordinary. It's about not losing the ordinary. Ordinary things like walking on your own, taking care of yourself, trusting each step you take. If you spend just a few minutes each day reminding your body of these abilities, you're investing in your freedom for years to come. If you look back at this entire video, you'll notice we never talked about pushing harder, going deeper, or forcing progress. We talked about understanding your body again, listening to your nervous system, rebuilding trust in movement, keeping joints, muscles, and brain engaged every day. After 60, your body doesn't need proof. It just needs to know, I'm still being used, I'm still respected, I still matter. Just a few minutes a day, slow, controlled movement, repeated consistently. Over time, you'll notice, standing up feels easier. You hesitate less when bending, you walk with more confidence, without overthinking. That's not a miracle. That's your body remembering itself. If today you only did a little, that's okay. Progress after 60 is quiet, but it lasts. My name is David Warren, and if I leave you with one final piece of advice, it's this: don't wait until your body forces you to change. Start while you still have the choice. If you found this video helpful, consider subscribing to the channel, where we talk about movement, health, and aging in a way that respects the body, without fear or pressure. And if you'd like, leave a comment below. What part of today's video made you think the most? This video is for educational purposes only and does not replace personalized medical advice. If you have underlying conditions, injuries, or specific health concerns, please consult your doctor or a qualified healthcare professional before trying anything discussed here.